Grand Teton National Park is a paradise of towering peaks, crystal clear alpine lakes, and some of the most breathtaking landscapes that can be seen from one of the many overlooks along the Scenic Loop Drive. This park offers incredible hikes, tons of wildlife spotting opportunities, and the magnificent views of the rugged peaks that seemingly seem to rise out of the ground. While the park receives much less visitors than its more popular big brother Yellowstone, today I want to show you why you need at least a few days to take advantage of everything this beautiful national park has to offer. We'll talk about all of the information you need to know prior to your visit. I will give you the best hike recommendations and show you the best overlooks along the Scenic Drive. We have a lot of information to get through, so let's get started. Grand Teton National Park is served by the Jackson Airport within its boundaries, making it one of the most accessible national parks in the country. The town of Jackson, located just 15 miles south of the park, serves as the getaway to nearby attractions. Here in the town of Jackson, you will find everything you need from lodging, restaurants, and a western town feel. Stroll around the town and visit many of its storefronts. And don't forget to visit the iconic Elk Antler Arch in the Jackson Town Square. Once you settle in many of the town's beautiful hotels and get yourself acclimated to the elevation, you're ready for the main attraction, the Grand Tetons. I'll first talk to you about some of the hikes and give you specific information before we switch over and talk about the scenic loop drives and many of the stops along the way. My first recommendation, which also happens to be one of my favorite short hikes in the park, is the Bradley and Taggart Lakes. As soon as you leave the town of Jackson, the mountains will come into your view and get bigger and bigger the closer you get to the park's entrance. Keep in mind that many of the roads in the park may be closed during winter, so check the park's website prior to your visit. Bradley and Taggart Lakes are among the most popular hikes in the park, so be sure to arrive early as parking lots can fill up quickly and you will need to park far away in order to reach the trailhead. The hike itself is a loop that's roughly 6 miles long, passing through beautiful scenery with lots of stops for photo opportunities, fields of wildflowers, and gushing cascades. Both of these lakes are fantastic for a morning or afternoon stroll as you can sit at one of the rocks and enjoy the Grand Tetons reflection in one of the lakes. Just a few miles north of Taggart Lake's trailhead, we'll now be going to the Lupine Meadows, home to one of the most sought-after hikes in the entire park called the Delta Lake. Disclaimer, I do have to warn you that the main parking lot fills up quickly, sometimes even before 6 a.m., so I advise you to get here early, otherwise you will have to park as far as a mile down the road. The good news is that you do not need permits or any sort of reservations for this hike. The start of the trailhead begins with a mild climb as you hike deeper into the lush forest, while you'll hike in the shade for most of the way, keeping you nice and cool. Around 2 miles into the hike, you'll begin climbing through some switchbacks, but through the entirety of this part, you'll be greeted with stunning views of Bradley and Taggart Lakes in the distance. During my visit in July, I saw plentiful of wildflowers, which was just another reason why this hike was so popular. The hardest part of the hike comes just half a mile before you reach the lake, where you'll have to cross over boulder fields and ascend some mildly steep terrain. Take your time because you'll soon be rewarded with these views. If you're feeling a little bit adventurous, I recommend a quick polar plunge into this beautiful alpine lake. The shock of jumping into this near-freezing glacial water will wake you right up, and it's quite refreshing. This hike is a bucket list for many people who come to the Grand Tetons, but what if I told you there are 2 more stunning lakes on this hike? As you hike towards Delta Lake, around 3 miles into the hike, the trail splits off towards Delta Lake to the right, but if you continue to the left for another 2 miles, you'll reach Surprise and Amphitheater Lakes. I have an entire video dedicated to this hike on my YouTube channel. During my visit in July, I encountered some snow on the trail, but I did not feel the need for any micro spikes. Surprise Lake is the smaller of the two, with a couple of nice spots to take in a break and enjoy the views. About a quarter of a mile further is the Amphitheater Lake. The name is well suited for this place as it's surrounded by beautiful peaks, a small stream that feeds into the Jackson Valley, and lots of places to sit in and enjoy the glory of the Grand Tetons. For a day hike, this is without a doubt one of my top recommendations. Jenny Lake is the heart and soul of Grand Teton National Park. Here you can check out the visitor center to learn about the history of the park, or check out the general store for some light refreshments and snacks. At the shore of the lake, you will find the popular Jenny Boat Lake shuttles, which take you across the lake to popular hiking destinations such as the Inspiration Point, Hidden Falls, and Cascade Canyon. Tickets for the boat shuttle start at $20 round trip, but you may opt for one-way journey and hike on the way back. you can visit the Jenny Lake boating website for opening hours. Inspiration Point is one of the top places you can visit in the park, but be prepared for a few steep switchbacks until you reach this amazing viewpoint. On this trail, you will also find the iconic hidden falls, which are fed by all the glaciers in the Cascade Canyon. If you've made it this far, continue for another mile past Inspiration Point into the beautiful Cascade Canyon. It is one of the most beautiful places with towering granite peaks, waterfalls, and a chance to see wildlife like moose or marmots. If you're looking for a more rugged adventure to experience not only the Cascade Canyon but the nearby Paintbrush Canyon while hiking through some of the most scenic spots in the park, listen closely. This next hike that I want to talk to you about is challenging and mostly done as a backpacking trip, as you'll be hiking over 20 miles with more than 5,000 feet of vertical gain. If you're intrigued by this proposition, then listen closely. The hike is called Paintbrush Canyon to Cascade Canyon Loop. The hike starts at the south end of String Lake near Jenny Lake Lodge before it begins to climb into the Paintbrush Canyon. When I completed this hike back in July, it took me close to 15 hours with tons of stops for photos, lunch breaks, and setting up my camera to then be able to share this iconic hike on my YouTube channel. This hike has it all. It encompasses all of the spots I talked about a minute ago, plus a few more stunning lakes like Holly and Lake Solitude. I think the hardest part of this massive hike is getting up to the Paintbrush Divide, as I still encounter lots of snow late in the year, but the views here were just spectacular. At the top of the Paintbrush Divide Pass, you'll be able to see all of the peaks that make up the Grand Teton mountain range. When you begin to hike down towards Cascade Canyon, it is just mind-blowing with all the views with wildflowers, cute little critters coming over to say hello, and the fresh mountain air. For the full hike details, you can head over to my National Parks playlist. These were just some of the most beautiful hikes I recommend for your next visit here in Grand Tetons National Park. For a more extensive list, you can visit AllTrails website and search by the length, difficulty, and user reviews. If hiking isn't your cup of tea, or you're just looking to get a taste of the park without the strenuous hiking, you may want to consider driving the 42-mile Scenic Loop Drive that starts in the park's southern entrance near Moose and continues north toward Moran before circling back through the interior of the park. In the next part of the video, I'll share some of my favorite stops, overlooks, and things you can expect. Each time I come to the Grand Tetons, I always make it a priority to visit the Schwarber's Landing. It is perhaps one of the most photographed spots in the entire park, one you have probably seen hundreds of photos online. I've taken shots during 2 different times of the day. This one is during the sunset, and the next one was shot during the sunrise. After a scenic start to the day, we're going to continue our drive and head towards Mormon Row. This cluster of remaining homesteads built by the Mormons who settled here from the northern parts of Utah is a testament to the pioneering spirit of the American West. You can stroll around and read about the history and see the iconic Molten Barn, the most photographed barn in America, and rightfully so. We're jumping back in the car and continue our drive north to an overlook called the Snake River Overlook, which was popularized by one of the most influential landscape photographers of his time, Ansel Adams. Driving down this scenic road is without a doubt one of the best ways to experience the park, and the best part is that it can be enjoyed by everyone. From my few visits to Grand Tetons, I have found that the further north you go, the better chances you have of seeing wildlife, like these bisons roaming in the field just south of Moran. The next overlook worth pointing out is the Oxbow Bend located close to Moran Junction. Here, the Snake River makes a calm curve as it continues its journey north. This is one of the most iconic photo spots in the park, in which you can see a mirror-like reflection of Mount Moran. Jackson Lake is one of the largest alpine lakes in the United States. It is the heart and soul of the Grand Tetons. You can stop at the Jackson Lake Dam to see where the Snake River emerges and walk around to take these incredible views of the Teton Range. From the Jackson Dam, continue south on the interior of the park loop until you reach this overlook called the Mount Moran. This iconic mountain stands at 12,610 feet and was named after a famous painter named Thomas Moran. There are so many other overlooks in the park that I drove by as I was making this video, but I encourage you to take the time while driving and see the various overlooks that offer unique perspectives of the park. Now I do have a bonus tip for you guys. Although wildlife sightings can be unpredictable, moose can quite often be seen near the town of Moose, ironically, near the south entrance of the park. This is by no means a list of everything there is to see and do in the Grand Tetons, but it's a guide designed to help and give you an idea of the things you can expect to do while visiting the park. If you have any questions about the park, the hikes, or the overlooks I just talked about, drop me a comment, and I encourage you to check out my Wyoming playlist for more in-depth videos. I wish you all an incredible time in the Grand Tetons, and I'll see you on my next adventure.